Live from the Pathway Studios in Johnston proper. You are live from the Path.
Put yourself under control. We're trying to run a show here.
No, we're not.
Not a good one.
Mike and I are doing just fine.
Here's the truth. It takes absolutely no preparation to run the show. Absolutely none.
Exhibit A.
This show is a facade. Forget it. We're not even going to go through the opening.
We don't need that.
It's a house of lies in here. House of lies. You're listening to lies from the path.
Lies from
People that tell foulness. All right. Here's live from the path. My name's Ben Foose. It's good to see you here today. I'm sorry you didn't get the opening, but people are misbehaving in here, and I got to lay down the law. You know what I'm saying? What?
Now there's two boovers on the screen. It's irritating me. That's all.
He always acts like that.
I'll fix it.
What's up?
Okay, here's what. Hey, first of all, I know no one noticed, but we were not on the air last week.
I noticed.
I usually get hate emails when we don't go on the air, but it's generally because I emailed myself and I said, Ben, you really should be on the air.
I usually get them when we do go on the air.
Hey, man, get off the air.
Why are you on the air?
You guys are still going?
So here's what we got going on the show this week. First of all, Nathan Grooms is in studio from the PromiseLand Music Festival. Nathan, snuggle on up to that mic there, buddy.
Hello.
Okay, that's a big hello. So here we're gonna find out more about the PromiseLand Music Fest. He's got a lot of sweet bands coming in, and I'm excited for this festival. I think it's gonna be awesome. You should think it's awesome as well, and we'll learn more about that. We'll get a little bit more information from Nathan and Monica. Also, we're on proof number 50 from GodIsImaginary.com. That's 50. He's got 50 proofs. We're on number 50.
Last one.
Supposed to be the horseshoe ringer. The one that really
It's going to be the one that brings us in. Yeah, exactly.
We're going to bring us to our knees and say, you know what, you're right. I don't know about this God
even
fella.
though we've determined it's 49 to zip God, this may be the one.
It might be heavy.
I don't think I should say that at all, but you get what I'm saying.
Anyway, we're going to walk through it. We're going to see how number 50 shakes out. Also, your advice on dear life from the path. People got troubles. We got answers. Hopefully the Bible has answers. Our wisdom is not helpful.
No, absolutely not.
We're not the ones who should be doing the answers.
But anyway, so hopefully you ask a question that is biblically relevant. Otherwise, I'll say what I want. And your chat, we got your chat going on, and it's very possible we would do a secular versus Solomon.
Okay.
It's it's high up on the list.
Let's
of
hope
things,
so.
Things that might happen.
I'm excited for it.
Okay, very, very
Hey,
cool.
no one needs your side commentary, Boova. Just
I think that's the point of me being here, isn't
no.
it?
That was a common misconception when we hired you.
Oh, that's awkward.
You were
guys
just
shouldn't-
there to keep other
You guys
people
really
from
shouldn't
coming
give me
in.
a microphone then. I feel like that's counterproductive.
All right, well, I'll tell you what. Let's get to know Mr. Grooms just a little bit. So tell me about how this is a giant festival. So here's what he's got going on. It's on July 12th and 13th. It's at Greater Ottumwa Park. It's absolutely free. This is the second year of the festival. We've got 26 bands, including 1,000-foot crutch headlighting. What happened? How did this even come about, Mr. Grooms?
Oh, wow. It's an amazing story. Man, I think you could write a book on it. It's just been an amazing journey. And just to think it's just getting started. I tell you, it's a great story of what God can do with somebody who really feels the least of. And that's kind of where my story is. But I don't want to dive too much into that. But I can tell you that it was an idea. It was a vision that was given to somebody of an event. And they shared it with me. It was a friend. It was a family friend.
Yep.
And they shared it, and they said, hey, we've got a perfect place to do a festival. Would you be interested in doing it? And they kind of, was talking to me, and I was like, well, it sounds like a great idea. This campground, they were like, it's a really perfect setup. You should really look into that. And I was like, well, it's a great idea. But, at the time they told me, they were like, I've been saved 8 months. Been going to church for 8 months. And it's really humble for me to be able to say this, but I didn't have a job. I didn't have a car. I didn't have a license. I didn't have any finances. I didn't even listen to Christian music at the time. I didn't have anything. And they were like, yeah, you should try it. You should start
a festival. Yeah.
Hold on a
should
second.
do that.
I need to recap the situation that you're talking about here. Okay. Christian for less than a year. No job. No vehicle. Don't listen to Christian music. You're going to put on a Christian music festival.
That's right. Because his family.
I love Jesus. I'll tell you that.
That's awesome.
It was, I don't know why, this family member had told me this, and because the person that owned the property was a family member of ours.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where that tied in, But, and I was the one that was kind of excited for the Lord at the time. So
Yeah.
they thought this might be something right up my alley. So
Now, hold on. Has it kind of fallen off since then? Are you still fairly excited about the Lord?
Now
You
that I
know-
know better.
After last year, I really thought that I couldn't get more consumed by something, but this thing it's a part of me, and it's a part of us. I don't want to just speak for myself, but everybody that's involved. But it is consuming, and it's all I think about from the moment I wake up to the moment I go to sleep. And it has definitely been a part of me. So, to answer your question, could I be any more excited than last year? Somehow I am.
Yeah.
I didn't think that was possible.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I was like, I'll tell you what we'll do is we'll pray on it. We'll see where God wants to lead this thing. So I committed to praying. And 2 weeks later, we had confirmation at a men's conference that I was at, and we decided to go through with it. So to make a long story short, 8 months after that, we had 2 stages, 18 bands, and around 1,500 people show up. And it was just an amazing experience. And it was an awesome crash course into the Christian music industry.
Oh, yeah.
Because I learned so much over the last year about how talented Christian artists are out there. And it's mind-blowing. I didn't know. I was very ignorant to the fact of how talented these bands are, and that you don't have to sacrifice your music talent to get a good message. So it's been a great journey. And
I think we'd echo that, because that's one of the things that we're I think comes out of a lot of the bands that we have come in here is the talent that's in the Christian music industry that you just doesn't have the exposure. You just simply don't know. You're not aware. I mean, there's people that are rocking for Christ in hole in the wall, churches and basements in 50 counties out of 50, And it's great to be able to give those folks a venue so that they can share the message that they're excited about with other people that are excited to hear it. So that's the PromiseLand Music Fest. Again, Greater Autumnal Park, July 12th and 13th. Free admission. It says for all ages, but if you're like 90 or above, there's going to be a $10 cover.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
I'll work security for them. I'll make sure there's no
Here's the
mosh
deal.
pits over there.
Once you hit 90, you're kind of fickle to deal with. I mean,
sometimes you're crotchety. Grumpy in general.
You're
Unless you're not grumpy.
you're blocking the bathroom all the time because you got to go.
Maybe we'll have a guy that judges grumpiness. And
if we had a 90-plus demographic that ever listened to this show, I think we completely just lost them.
Yeah, we don't though, so no problem.
All right, well then cool. We're good.
Time
All right, just checking.
Yeah, I think we're fine. Anyway, I'll bring my grandpa.
Is camping still? Can they still get into the camping?
yes, yep. There's camping available. There's all sorts of. This is a huge park.
Yeah.
This is. I don't know, how many acres it is, but it's very, very large, and it's got softball fields and all sorts.
Can you play? Is there room to play softball while the festival's going, or is that taken up with stages and people and vendors?
Oh no. You could.
You can get your softball on.
You could. It would be. It's across the road, but
You're going to get the frisbee crowd, aren't you? You're going to get the frisbee golf with mobile frisbee golf holes, and they're going to show up and take over.
Can we bring our pumpkin launcher?
Yes, I say yes.
You don't have
There
to
you go.
talk to Dan if
There
you don't
you
want to. That
Pumpkin launcher?
I didn't agree to it. But if you bring it,
Is that like a potato gun for pumpkins?
It goes a lot further.
Now let me ask you this: if there's like
enough.
I can look at the poster right now and kind of get the gist of it. Where would I go if I wanted to see all the bands involved? Like, do you have a website or somewhere that we can go check out?
yeah, definitely. PromiseLandFest.com. It's really nice. We just launched that a few months ago. It's a new website, different from our last year's, and it's got video on it. It's got music player on it. It's got the full schedule of our band. So it's really got any kind of information you want. If you had any questions, and it's we've got somebody that's put in a lot of time and effort into it.
It
so.
looks pretty good. Hey, and here's the deal. If you're familiar with Live from the Path, there's actually quite a few folks in here that you should recognize or haven't been on the show. Let me hit you with some of them. So Chris Day's there. Covington's hanging out at the PromiseLand Fest.
Heck yeah.
Dubs, Double J's going to be there.
Double J's in town. He should have stopped by. I should have called him.
I like
know,
him.
I
I
did.
like him. He's a good time.
Did he just have a birthday?
He did.
Today,
He did.
I think. 23?
Is that today?
He heard that Nathan Grooms was going to be here and said
Yeah,
I'm out.
that happens sometimes.
That's rude.
something about sleep, but whatever it was.
We should call
I also had Francis Chan booked, and he wasn't a big fan of Nathan either, so he bumped.
I just turned Monica on to him recently. She's been listening to Francis Chan. He's amazing.
So yeah, that's the PromiseLand Music Fest again, July 12th and 13th. It's still time to get in. Do they have to have tickets, or they just show up?
Free.
Just
Yep.
walk right in.
Bring as many people as you want. It's all free
Not
admission.
like you don't have to bring a can or anything. A lot of these fests you got to bring like a can of beans or something.
I feel like if you got
You
a
can bring a can of beans if you want.
I suppose, yeah, I was going to say, I don't think they'll turn you down if you have a
You're
can
not
of
gonna
beans.
get
Like,
any special treatment for it.
We'll let you keep it.
people people begrudgingly do it though. Like I've been to those places where they're like, it's like a food drive. They're like, I gotta bring a can of beans. I really just want the free entertainment. I feel like you're missing the heart of the event.
Well, the thing is, they always bring like the lima beans that they don't like, which makes you wonder why do you have them?
Or pumpkin pie paste.
Who buys all these junk
Yeah, they
beans?
pull out these things that they don't like, and it's like, well, why are they in your house?
I really can't
How
wait
did
to
you get
walk
them
through
there?
the front door and then just see like 4 cans of beans and then think it was the people who listened to the show. We're just like, oh, you guys weren't kidding about the beans? Okay.
That's the thing. Is like I've heard people complain about the attitudes of certain homeless people, but like that's all they eat is lima beans.
Yeah.
'Cause people
If you
always
ate nothing
drop
but
it off.
lima beans and pumpkin pie paste,
Here's the predicament of the
You're not
average
a happy
homeless
camper.
guy, right? There's an aid organization, and they give you lima beans in a can and no can opener. That's why.
And they say good luck.
That's what
Yeah.
they should do.
Have a
Is-
great time.
on
God be
those-
with you.
Those big barrels that say stop and tell you to give food, there should be an extra space that says
For can openers.
give a can opener.
yes.
Because there's a homeless guy throwing stuff across the
Or at least
Slamming
at least
can
buy
of
some with a
beans
pop
into
top.
a wall. People are wondering what the crime scene was with beans hanging
I think
out from
that's
us.
the biggest joke on a homeless guy ever. Like he's so close to food, but there's no can opener.
Claw your way into your food,
It's in
sir.
this impenetrable container. He's like, my
Find a
kingdom,
rock and have some dinner.
my kingdom for potato strings. Just give me something.
Can opener drive. That sounds like fun.
So actually, if you're homeless and happen to be listening to internet radio, it sounds like there might be people with cans of beans at David's festival.
If
We
not,
hear you, homeless people.
It's free admission at least.
All right, you're listening to Live from the Path. Make sure to check out the PromiseLand Music Fest. And check out that website, PromiseLandFest.com. And you can check out the bands that are out there. You can share it on Twitter and Facebook. Get folks out there. Bring some folks with you. And have a good time out at that festival. I think it'll be a ton of fun. And lots of cool bands. Lots of folks from the show. And 1,000 Foot Crutch is headlining that whole deal. Should be awesome.
That is awesome for free to see TFK in Iowa. I mean, that's
That's pretty huge.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
beastly.
I feel like I could arm wrestle those fellas and win all 3 of them.
At one time.
Yeah,
That's a
I
ring.
probably.
What about that guy?
No, definitely not the strong man. What's it, Bubba Dowling?
Bubba Dowling.
Yeah, I'll throw down the gauntlet, Bubba. We'll see you.
I was gonna say
On the
I'll see
12th.
if I can arm wrestle him.
He's
I'm not gonna
he's
win
tipping
that,
a
but
car
we'll see.
right there.
All right, you're listening live from
Yes,
the Path.
indeed.
Here's the deal. We've been walking through the 50 proofs that God is imaginary from GodIsImaginary.com. We are on proof number 50. That means over the last 49 weeks, 1, 2, skip a few or so, we've been walking through as to what proofs this man has that God's imaginary. So far, our count, and it could be just a slighted count, but we're at 49-0 for God. Let's look at number 50. This is the penultimate, the big proof that God is imaginary. Proof number 50. Here it is. Ask Jesus to appear. This sounds familiar. Here's the proof. Just about everyone knows the story of Jesus' death and resurrection. The story is summarized in the Apostles' Creed. Jesus was crucified, died, and was buried. He descended into hell. On the third day, he rose again from the dead. There's only one way for Jesus to prove that he rose from the dead. He had to appear to people. Therefore, several different places in the Bible describe Jesus' appearances after his death. Matthew chapter 28, Mark 16, Luke 24, John chapter 20 and 21. 1 Corinthians 15, 3-6 provides a nice summary of those passages written by Paul. Paul says, "For I delivered to you as of first importance what I also received, that Christ died for our sins in accordance with the Scriptures, that he was buried, that he was raised on the third day in accordance with the Scriptures, and that he appeared to Cephas, then to the 12. Then he appeared to more than 500 brethren at one time, most of whom are still alive, though some have fallen asleep. Then he appeared to James, then to all the apostles. Last of all, as to one ultimately born, he appeared also, untimely born, he appeared also to me." As you can see in this passage, Jesus appeared to hundreds of people a number of different times. So, I'm going to have to skip a couple things because this is pretty long. So it says, so why doesn't Jesus appear to everyone and prove that he is resurrected just like he appeared to Paul? There's nothing to stop Jesus from materializing in your kitchen tonight to have a personal chat with you. And if you think about it, Jesus really does need to appear to each of us. If Paul needed a personal visit from Jesus to know that Jesus was resurrected, then why wouldn't you? It is an important question for the following reasons. 1, we are told by the Bible that Jesus appeared to hundreds of people. 2, we therefore know that it's okay for Jesus to appear to people. It does not take away their free will, for example, because it was okay for Jesus to appear to hundreds of other people. 3, we know that it would be easy for Jesus to appear to everyone all through history, since Jesus is all-powerful and timeless. 4, we know that if Jesus did appear to everyone, it would be incredibly helpful. We could all know personally that Jesus is resurrected and that Jesus is God. If Paul and all the other people in the Bible needed a personal visit to know that Jesus was resurrected, then why not you and me? 5, yet we all know that Jesus has not appeared to anyone in 2,000 years. In other words, there's nothing stopping Jesus from appearing to you, and several good reasons for him to appear. In addition, Jesus promises that he will appear to you. All that we have to do is pray to Jesus like this. Dear Jesus, please appear to us as you did to Paul and the 500 brethren, so that we can see the evidence of your resurrection. In your name we pray, amen. And he references back to Matthew 7:7 text that he loves so much. Says Jesus is actually in our midst. So he's right here already, supposedly. Yet when we pray to him to physically materialize, as he did to hundreds of others, nothing happens. Continuing on, what you will find if you think about it is that the situation we see here is the kind of unambiguous situation described in the previous proof. We have created a situation where coincidence cannot answer the prayer. The only way for this prayer to be answered is for Jesus to actually unambiguously materialize. In this situation, we also know that, again, it is trivial for Jesus to materialize. There would be many benefits if he did, and he promised to do so. If the resurrection were true, then Jesus would be answering prayers as he promises in the Bible. He would appear when people pray to see him. The reason why he does not appear is simple. Both Jesus and God are imaginary. Mike, first thoughts.
Jesus knows that doesn't matter. Like if you read any of the Old Testament, especially maybe the first 5 books, Pentateuch style, God shows up multiple times. And the whole Old Testament is Israel is following God. And then they fall away from God and disobey him and rebel. And then God shows up with a fire or a plague or a mean storm or a cloud or actually comes down and talks. And they're like, oh, yeah, we've done bad. We'll totally follow. And then like 3 days later, they're doing terrible things again, denying the Lord's existence and wanting to go back to their enslavement.
No, that's true. Like, these are people who were, physically, literally led around by a big pillar of fire provided by the Lord. Food is coming and showing up on the ground for them. Mm-hmm. He sent what was that when they wanted meat? What was it?
He sent pheasants,
pigeons or pheasants.
Quail?
Yes,
Quail.
Right? A legion of quail has come upon your camp.
Whine about my manna. Have some quail for as much as long as you can take it.
At God's sole contact of Moses, at his behest. Where am I going to get all this meat, Lord? Are we close? What? I can't remember his exact words. I just read it the other day, and he's like, "Are we close enough to 1,000 lands that I can produce this quail for all these people?" And then God sends like an army of quail,
and they have to eat it.
They're just falling left and right for eating purposes.
Remember the one guy gorged himself on the quail.
He was so sick of the manna, he ate so much quail. Yeah.
So it's here's the thing: is it's a misconception that you have to see the guy with the bat breaking the windshield to know that he broke the windshield, right? You have to see Jesus Christ in the flesh to feel the effects of his gift and his grace, right? And I can tell you right now that's not true, right? Like, I know the effects of his grace and his love, and I've not looked him in the eye. I talk to him. He talks to my heart. The Holy Spirit indwells within me, and that's enough, right? And so he's under the false impression that if he was given physical evidence, which the Bible.
We're back. Thanks for listening to Life in the Path.
Buzzkill.
Buzzkill. Okay, so we're talking about having to be able to. Basically, the proof was I prayed for Jesus to materialize. He's not materializing. That means he's not real. And basically, that if you would just show himself, people would believe. But the framework that he presented also presented scripture that said, okay, all these people believed or saw and believed. Jesus said, "Blessed are those who don't see and believe." So he knew that obviously there would be a time following when he ascended that he simply wouldn't be there in the physical presence, but the impact of him and the work of the Holy Spirit would be evident within his people. And also, there were people that he presented himself to, or that were at least aware of the resurrection, that also didn't believe.
No, that's not to be discounted either, right? There's people that he appeared to and could give or take him. And said no, thank you.
Yeah, they saw all the miracles that he was doing, the healings and random things he was doing, and they still didn't believe.
Yeah,
he keeps going back to this passage, the Matthew 7:7. If I'm quoting it correctly, it's asking, it will be given to you; seek, and you will find; knock, and the door will be open to you. And forever, whoever asks, all that good stuff. So he keeps going back to this as just that genie in a bottle God. It's these are my 3 wishes, and you're going to grant them because, oh, wait, here you said you're going to no matter what. And he keeps looking past the context of it that you're not going to have your prayers answered for multiple reasons. You're not aligned with the heart of God. Your prayers aren't aligned with God's will. if you were aligned with the heart of God, your prayers would start being aligned with God's will.
Well, and think of what you're asking. You're basically you were the servant. He is the king. You're basically barging into the king's throne room and saying, "Oh, king, show yourself to me."
It's like, hey, Almighty God, the one who breathed out existence, hey, show me yourself.
I don't
and
know
I'll
if you
believe
realize, but this is John Boover III coming in.
Yeah.
And
Do you realize who I am?
evidence. I picked you up a Gatorade on the way here. I want to see something.
Hey, man, God, I've asked multiple times, and so far you haven't come to my birthday party, and I'm really upset about that. Like, Matthew 7:7, man. It's like, come on, dude. Seriously?
It's in your book.
You wrote it.
I think it's a little bit funny that he, throughout the whole thing, he's trying to be like this intellectual. He's like a fifth grader, I'm pretty sure, though.
Yeah.
Because he's like, sometimes he'll throw out science, facts, blah, 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 and he'll try to prove things with that. And then, like, in his proof here, he says, oh, and by the way, we all know that Jesus has not appeared to anyone in 2,000 years. I'm assuming then he actually, interviewed everyone born
ever
in the past 2,000 years?
Yep.
Or is he just making that as a broad statement? I'm not sure. All this does, it does not prove that God is imaginary. It proves that God has not appeared to him. Or at least he has not acknowledged God appearing to him. Right. That's, so.
And with that
sorry.
mentality, I don't think you're ever going to.
Right. Yeah.
That kind of heart and spirit.
And you know what? Yeah, and if he does,
With the way his heart is right now, he will accept nothing shy of Jesus walking up to him in the flesh with a hole in his hand, shaking his hand and saying, hey, I'm Jesus, the Messiah. And that's ridiculous.
And even then, like, if your mind is set, if your heart is set not to believe, like, you're just going to attribute that to a bad bag of pot or something.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, you're just like,
it's like,
no, I didn't really see that.
Did I really see it? No. Hole in the hand? No, that wasn't real. It was staged. Hollywood. That's what it was.
All right. So anyway, that's I don't know. Any other comments here on number 50?
I'm still a believer.
Yeah, I'd say that's 50-0.
I might even feel more emboldened after that one.
That's true.
I feel like Jesus really trumped him.
Right. We had some good answers on that one. I was really hoping that one was going to be his crusher.
I also think, though, that some people's personalities wouldn't handle things like that very well. And maybe pride, and some people are not humble enough to get maybe encounters. I think in certain situations, and that maybe would go to their head, and that might be some reasons for some people not to be able to encounter.
Well, it's funny. Like, he likes to take Paul as the big example. Like, he revealed himself to Paul. I'm like, did you see Paul's life after he met Jesus, Mister?
Paul was not a miracle man. He was just a guy who went and told the truth and got to kick the crap out of him about it.
I was totally cool with it the whole time.
And had a thorn in the side.
Yeah,
and made tents.
Yeah. So realize the deal you're trying to strike here. Like, if you want Jesus to show up to you, if he has that much use in you, he's going to use you.
Yeah. The phrase "Lord, reveal yourself to me" should probably fall just a little lightly off your tongue.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, Lord, reveal. Ooh.
Not in the way you did to Paul.
Yeah, exactly.
Or
see a crowd of people that are just screaming mad. It's just like, let me at him.
Paul and Job are off the table. Make me. Who do I really like? Yeah. Who's that rich guy that buried Jesus? I'll be that man.
I'll be that dude. Purchases the tomb.
He had a lot of spices and stuff. he seems all right.
He seemed way up my alley of discipleship.
I'll be Zacchaeus. I'll just come down from my tree and let him in my house. That's all I need to do.
Who's the guy that had the most fun and then repented?
Exactly.
I want to be that guy.
I want to be the prodigal son. That sounds like fun.
I'll be Matthew.
Yeah, exactly. Tax collector, hanging out with sinners.
Just know the entire character of God before you start. Make an oddball the man's like, show yourself to me and use me in any way you see.
We all have Job to realize what that ends up as. Exactly. It's just like, hey, God, I'm going to call you out for a couple hours, and we'll see what happens. It's not a big deal.
You know what's interesting about that Job story is I wonder how long Job actually was like standing in front of, like, when God was, laying it out on him.
Yeah.
Because, like, I mean, I can read it in like 25 minutes, but I feel like it took way longer than that. And he's just kind of standing there.
What did he say? Standing in
dramatic pauses.
Yeah.
Where were you?
Yeah. Hey, you heard the Leviathan, the whole thing, hook in the mouth? Yeah.
Just before Joe's about to say something, the guy goes, and another thing.
Do you know where the snows are held?
Can I borrow your measuring line, little man?
Look at me when I'm talking to you.
Exactly.
Hey, Job, your leprosy has caused your finger to fall off. Put yourself together. I am here.
I am here. Stand and be what is it? Stand and be accused, or stand and I can't.
No,
think of
gird your loins.
Gird your
it. Gird your loins, yeah.
Put on your cup, buddy.
Yeah, exactly.
It's time.
I think of God just basically going like this. He's just like, all right, we're getting this done. Yeah, all right. Job, gird your loins. Come on, buddy.
It would be awesome if God explained what he's doing. Now, Job, you know that I could have put on a sleeveless shirt, but I didn't because I'm rolling them
Let me roll
up.
these sleeves up real quick.
I don't have to wear steel-toe boots because there's bronze underneath. Sit down.
Hello, little man. Now answer these questions.
All right, you're listening live from the path. So here's the deal: if you'd like to see what are the answers that we provided against the other 49 proofs from GodIsImaginary.com, you can go out and read those, and then check out the archive shows on the website livefromthepath.org and see what we said. It could have been awesome. It could have been iffy.
It could have been.
There's a good chance it
could've
wasn't
been
very good at all.
Completely wrong.
So ultimately, all that points to is make sure you're reading your Bible and reading what the Lord said, because we're just four guys who have very much the possibility to get it wrong.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'd agree with that.
No. I don't sense that at all.
That's why we bring Nathan in.
It's now 5 guys.
Welcome to the show, Nick.
He's
Our
the type
choice has been validated.
He's the type of guy that rubs your back while sliding the knife in. Hey, buddy. Come to my festival.
What's that sharp pain? That's nothing. Don't worry about it.
just a thorn in your side like Paul.
He talks like that goods peddler on Aladdin, you know? You must try these one.
Oh man.
Yeah, okay.
Welcome to the show.
Here we go. Ready? We need some advice. People are in the straits.
We're here.
And, man.
Maybe you wait until he's gone through the line, and then you pull out the casseroles.
You know what? I think it's like this. I think we're working too much for this. I think here's the deal, Dad. If you can't control yourself, you're not invited.
Over a casserole.
Grow up.
Over a
You're going to disinvite your
Really?
old man?
You're gonna do
The
yeah,
whole
exactly.
family is suffering because he is selfishly running
You're
around
gonna
eating the tops
uninvite
of all the
your man.
casseroles.
I'm sorry. The whole family is suffering.
I would not go as far as
Get the
suffering.
top
I'm
of
just
the
going by
casserole.
the advice letter here. It sounds like everybody is
by
suffering.
the advice letter, it
Tell
seems
Dad
like
if you
there's
can't
some
control
serious
yourself.
issues going on in this family.
You're going to go last, or tell him it starts at 7. Have it really start at 6. Let everybody eat first.
No, it's okay to lie for the gospel, Dan.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was thinking that too. I'm just like, just tell Dad you forgot to bake those casseroles.
Yeah, no, you
But
just
I'm
gotta
like,
tell
nah,
Dad.
that's not
Dad,
cool.
you know
Nope.
what? This isn't working. This isn't.
I would put X-Lax in the toppings.
One time it's done.
A healthy amount of X-Lax and pinto beans.
But then what happens if it's that one time that Dad's just like, well,
No, he's known for this. Here's the thing. Here's what I'm guessing. It's just his thing. Like, he thinks it's funny, and
It
that's
might.
how he wants to be known. You know what I'm saying? Like
Well,
that
we all
guy.
know
that's
him
like
now.
that's on his eulogy.
It's like your cousin that shows up at all the events at all your family gatherings with like this cabbie hat, like a taxi cab hat,
Yeah.
because it's kind of his deal.
Yeah.
This is the old man's deal. He just
I
likes
must-
to eat the toppings off the casserole.
Must
Yeah.
be missing that
Yeah,
family.
he
I don't
needs-
know.
yeah,
but
he
I
needs to
have a
grow up.
cabbie family member.
He smokes Bronsons or holds a cat or something like this. It's just something distinct that he feels like he thinks is funny. It isn't funny, but it makes him distinct.
Holds a cat.
So his taking the toppings is his signature on Thanksgiving
Yeah.
dinner.
Yeah.
It's like you'll never forget me.
You do one of two
casserole's
things.
gone.
You plant the wayward cousin underneath the table and you hit him with a tire iron, or you put a car alarm on his car that he doesn't know about and set it off when it's time to eat. Beep, someone's breaking in your car, Dad. Beep, beep, beep. And he can go run out there and check it out. And then you eat all the food.
I feel like we're trying to give.
So
the
far, Dan
shadiest ways.
has kicked him out of the family, and you
No,
have
just
you
out
have
of the
made him a
meals.
separate casserole.
I feel like mine might be the most.
Why didn't you just stop making casseroles?
Now the whole family's
Hey,
suffering again.
Yeah, exactly. The
Now,
whole
hold on.
family is suffering without their green
Now,
bean
hold on,
casserole
hold
or
on a
cheesy
minute.
potatoes.
How can it really be suffering? He's eating the best part of it.
You,
They've been getting low rent casseroles for years.
it's just
All
the
they
to-
have is the lima
Low rent
beans.
or no rent?
It's just the topping. Just leave it separate. Make the casserole. Put the topping in a separate bowl. You can put on your own topping.
Or
Like
don't
a-
put toppings on it.
like a salad bar.
I feel like we're cheapening the casseroles for
Mix
this
the little
man.
onion things in.
I'm not
the
okay
green
with
bean
this. I'm not
casserole.
okay with sacrificing casserole quality for this man.
It's
I feel
selfish.
like you make him stand at the back of the line.
He's being
You
selfish.
can't serve your own father and let him have the top? What's the matter with you? That's how you want to live your life? Sorry, Dad. I know what makes you happy. But
I'm sorry.
forget it.
If we're being 100% honest, if my dad, like my own father, took all the casserole toppings, I would fight it. Like I would not be
I
afraid.
would fist fight him.
I would not be afraid to take a spatula and just knock him on the top of the head.
Yeah.
And say no.
If you can't talk within your family, you got problems.
Right. If you can't settle this with a big punch to the gut,
Let me
saying,
ask you,
Dad, no
let me
more
ask you this
casserole.
casserole.
question though. Why don't you think the mom will get involved?
She's a wimp.
Maybe it's already happened.
He's gonna live with him.
That's true. Maybe
That's a
she
good
doesn't
point.
want to deal with his. Maybe he does it at home. Maybe he
Thanksgiving
takes
Day.
all the frosted off the flakes. He licks every.
Maybe
flake
she
and
allows
puts
it,
back
and then
in.
he thinks it's okay at Thanksgiving. Maybe she just is like,
You
sweetheart.
grew up in that house. There's no way you didn't see this behavior coming.
What if it?
You know what I'm saying? Like, because he always ate the top half of the Twix and then put it back
So
in
the
the
whole
wrapper.
family is living in fear.
This guy's terrorized her.
They need to talk
I
to
feel
this
like
guy.
We're really breaking this down to some serious situation.
Here's our advice. He's a bad man.
He's a terrible man. Uninvite him from family dinners until he can learn to control himself when it comes
All
to
right, let's see
Thanksgiving
what
topics.
secular
Or
has
give
to
him the
say.
little can of onion thingies.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
There you
Secular
go.
says a guest who grabs all the goodies at a dinner party is a hog. Because your
Thank
father
you.
refuses to change his behavior, I will offer a few suggestions.
Kick him out.
The first is to alter your menu to avoid serving casseroles. If that's not possible, make your father his own separate casserole with his name on it so he can have it all to himself.
His name on it.
Or just
Toppings
plate the
only.
food in the kitchen and stop serving it buffet style.
No. Now here's the thing. He likes it. Yeah. Let's just assume that he likes it.
Yeah.
It's your old man. He's a quirky guy. Make him a casserole. I love that. I think that's the solution.
Everybody likes it.
You want to fight him? Well, make two.
Yeah, make 2 casseroles.
Yeah, whatever.
What's a
Give him little-
casserole cost you? $3, you know?
Yeah,
That's pretty good.
get him a
Yeah,
4x4.
4x4 baking tin.
We have a
Get him
small
some
oven.
casserole. Go out of your way to serve somebody.
Or
I'm
he-
sorry to
he
inconvenience
could
you,
make a
Dan.
casserole for like a month straight, to where when Thanksgiving comes around, he doesn't want to touch it.
Oh, that is diabolical. That is. Oh.
You could light a flaming pile of casserole on fire on his front doorstep.
Thanksgiving comes around. I'm
And he
sick
can
of green
step
bean
on it.
casserole. That's right, Dad. Now stop taking the topping.
There's
Can't
nothing
take
about
any more cheesy
there's
potatoes.
nothing about this problem in Corinthians. You know what I'm saying? Paul did not address all of it.
Belt of truth.
Exactly.
I mean, that's Ephesians. But
Ephesians, yeah.
If meat offends you, don't eat meat. Just eat the topping.
Dear Life from the Path. Over the past few years, as social media has become more popular, I have noticed a trend among many people. They now favor that form of communication over personal human interaction. This is especially true of my girlfriend of 5 years.
I think. Wait,
pretty
did she
sure
play
it's a
football
she.
for Nebraska?
Wait it out, fellas.
Or Notre Dame, that was it.
We have the normal relationship problems I feel could be addressed, but from the moment she gets home from work, she's in front of the computer playing Facebook games, posting status updates, or messaging friends. She sits there for hours, lost in her virtual world. We rarely talk anymore, and when we do, it turns into an argument because I'm trying to discuss what I see as a serious problem. The internet and social media are great tools for bringing worlds together if they are not abused, but for many people, I think, social media is doing more harm than good. It has depersonalized human contact and has the potential to destroy her relationships and isolate individuals. I'm interested in your opinion and any advice you can give me on helping my girlfriend understand my concerns.
Okay, this is really easy. Number one, you're not in a relationship. Get married if you're living together.
Thank you, Dan.
You're just having free sex. So that's the first issue, and that's all I really had to say about that.
Please tell me that the signature is Candy Crushed, because that'd be great. I'd be completely content with that. But on a serious note, that's ridiculous.
It did not say that they're living together, Dan.
I thought it
Did he
did.
say she comes
He said
home?
she comes home from work.
He's observing.
She comes to her home and gets on
and
the
he's
Facebook.
stalking from the window.
He comes over and visits. It doesn't say
Does
they're
she
living
know
together.
they're in a relationship?
Here-
Maybe they play Farmville together, and he's like just a neighbor.
I don't think you can see the forest for the trees here. The guy's a dweebo. Okay,
Yeah.
she doesn't want to talk to him because he's boring and not fun, and so she's forced to go to the Facebook.
Yeah.
I think that's the deal.
Farmville is much more exciting.
Yeah, he's totally not fun at all. He stinks at Monopoly.
But now, hold on a second.
And he eats all the casserole
Hold on a
toppings.
minute. Let's say that's the case. That's a little bit disingenuous of her to not break up with him and just keep him around and play Farmville.
Maybe he cleans the place real nice.
He's got high-speed internet.
Yeah, he's got
He's got high-speed internet access.
So she's using him.
And she likes the bottom of the casserole. He eats the top. Everybody's happy.
Who likes the bottom of the casserole?
Nobody.
That's wrong. All right. Yeah, I think that's a fair assessment.
No, it
Isn't
isn't. No, it's not a fair assessment at all. She's addicted to social media. It was not true.
So is there a solution to this problem?
Well, that's the thing.
They need to come up with an agreement with how much time, social interaction, internet will happen.
Has he confronted her at all about this?
I don't know.
Maybe he's too much of a pansy to
Now listen.
Maybe he should send her a Facebook message.
Yeah.
That's probably true.
You should interact with her.
Text her.
Just meet them where they're at.
No,
Hey, what are you
you put a
doing?
post so everybody can see it, and then you tag a bunch of people.
Now here's the thing: is that like this is a legitimate problem? Is that social media gives you the impression that you have more friends than you have? Like
I have a
most
lot
of
of friends.
Most of the people are not they're not your friends. Like
Yeah.
it says friends, but they're not your friends. They don't care about you.
You can't judge
if there's
me.
something terrible that happens in your life, their biggest contribution will be sad face. You know, like that's what's going to happen. And so, you know, like it's a legitimate problem where like we confuse frequency with intimacy, right? I talked to this guy 10 times. This guy liked 10 of my statuses. That doesn't make you friends. It doesn't make you close. Like there's a difference between frequency and intimacy. And sometimes when you confuse those things, you don't recognize that you're missing out on intimacy because of the frequency, and you start to find yourself separated. You find yourself torn or drawn to social media as if you have to as if there are people waiting to hear from you. Like that's true for 10 people on the internet. There are 10 people with a Twitter account where somebody actually gives a crap, and they're like, I
They're
wonder
called
what this guy
stalkers.
says.
That's
yes, and that's it. And no, I like 10 content producers. Like everybody else on the internet, and millions of people out there, no one cares what you put. Like the only reason they want to see what you put out there is so they can judge you about it.
Yeah.
That's it. They don't want to be your friend. They're not concerned about how your cat died or whether your grandpa ate the top of the casserole. They just don't care. And so, like, it's a legitimate problem. She could just simply be misguided. She's caught up in a world of social media where she feels like she's more important than she is and doesn't, frankly, recognize that she's not spending the amount of time with the boyfriend that she should.
Yeah, it's almost a cheaper relationship, right? Like there's never any any fights because it never gets to a level of intimacy where there's a disagreement. It's just I said something, either you didn't react at all, or you're like, yeah, I think that's okay. You know, like it's just like people who have. We had this in one of these Life from the Path questions a couple of months ago, where someone's like, you know, I've been married X number of years, and I started thinking about my old crush from high school, and I really just kind of romanticized that relationship, and I'd really like to go see how it goes. And the truth of the matter is that relationship never saw any trials to bear any fruit, and so it's a romanticized relationship, right? Like it's never saw any type of conflict to have to be resolved to know whether it would have worked anyway. And Facebook and social media kind of works the same way. There you throw something out there, and if someone doesn't like it or hates it, they pretty much just ignore you and bypass, you know. And so it's not a relationship; it's more just a bulletin board, you know. And if people don't want to take your phone number to get the lawn mowing service, they just won't. And so it doesn't. It's not like it affects you personally, either way.
Here's my suggestion: have a 15-minute deal. Come home. Fair game, 15 minutes. Turn everything off. Have some communication time. Then whatever, later on, you can do whatever you want.
I don't think it's an isolated deal. I think she maybe just be like millions of other people out there.
Right. Yeah, it's a true situation where social media is affecting a lot of people on a large scale. I can see this in my generation, definitely. The texting generation, or whatever you want to call them, actual soft skills and communication skills have honestly been diminished because of other areas of communication, other modes of communication. And this is another situation. I've seen relationships where this happens where, you know, I've seen it when I was in high school and then out of high school and then, you know, with friends of mine, this is exactly what the relationship was. And it wasn't that. It was just convenience of, hey, let's get together and, you know, we can be together. I'm going to do off my own thing. You do your own thing. We're not a couple. We're just casually closer than friends. And that's exactly what this is right now with this guy and this gal.
Here's what Secular has to say. People cannot be two places at once. When relationships aren't nurtured, they wither. If this has been going on for an extended period, then it's time you give your girlfriend a wake-up call. You feel abandoned. By spending more time in the virtual world than in the real one, she's neglecting her relationship with you.
Okay, hold on. That's a weird thing to say. The virtual world is a real one. You know what I'm saying? Like it's kind of those aren't fake people. They're not fake things. That's a real part. That's a real part of life, right? Like you can't diminish it by acting like it's not real.
No,
It's
no.
a real. It's a yeah.
It's like Tron.
It's
Yeah.
very much like Trump.
Exactly like Trump.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
It says, ask her if she would be willing to work on a compromise so that she spends time with you. If she can't do that and the internet is giving her everything she needs, then you should find a lady who is willing to give you more of what you need, which is undivided attention.
Maybe he needs to man up and give her a reason to not be on the internet.
That's kind of where I'm at. pair of chaps or something. Spice that business.
Pair of chaps.
Pair of chaps.
Come on, baby.
Now hold on, they better be married first. Don't get me wrong.
I was
I'm
gonna
just
say,
saying.
I feel like
I'm saying the chaps are cool.
I believe
I
that's
might be
what
one
I
of many
started
people
with.
that are creeped out after that comment. But go ahead.
You're not going to borrow my chaps with that attitude. It says,
Isn't
"Dear
that like
life from the path. If a person compliments me on my hair, am I obliged to reveal that it isn't my natural color? I'm a henna redhead, and it looks very natural.
Where
But-
are these questions coming from?
But
Say thank you.
But my friend, who is a natural redhead, says I have to fess up. She will even tell people for me that my color is fake. What should I do?
I feel like the person who has the natural redhead color is not getting compliments and is really upset that, oh, your red hair is gorgeous. Hers isn't real.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like that's what it's equated to is,
Just say thank
Isn't
you.
that kind of odd? Because it's not like you worked real hard to get that red hair. You know what I'm saying?
exactly.
Like, you just kind of were born with it.
I had to open a box.
I had to do work for this. No, that's ridiculous.
That's true. If you could pull off a fake hair color and it looks natural, that's something to be proud of, right? If you were just born with one, I mean,
Okay, now hold on a second. Is that same true? Let's say you have a wig.
Okay.
You bought a sweet wig. It seems like, hey, man, I love your natural hair.
You're like, right on, me too.
Thank you.
Exactly.
You're not obliged to say, thank you, it's a wig.
I feel like when people ever compliment me on my hair from now on, I'm like, thank you. That's my natural hair color. In case you couldn't tell, that's real.
Thank you for noticing.
This beard, all real.
I
No
realize
implants.
It doesn't seem like it, but it's a piece.
Yeah.
That plus in the Pert Plus is a real doozy.
You may not think it, but this is all natural.
I don't know. I haven't had a whole lot of experience in coloring my hair or having people jealous of it. Nathan?
You think if they specifically ask you, hey, is that your natural hair color? You have to say, nah, not so much. Or
Yeah. No, I mean, if it comes into question, I feel like you got to own it up.
So yes,
Red
L'Oreal
hair and
592.
blonde eyebrows.
What
People
kind
are
of
just
what kind
like,
of friends busting you out on that? Anyway,
Yeah. And they
the
just
person
leave
that's
you
jealous
be.
of you get the comments.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know.
I still go back to hers isn't real.
Yeah. Just so you know, mine is brand spanking.
Say something about me, though.
Do you have any nice things to say about me now that I've demeaned her to be lower than me?
Do you like
Now
my
that I
hair?
may look better by association, do you have anything great to say about my hair?
The compliment door is open. All you got to do is walk on through.
Step on through.
I know you can do it. I've seen it.
You just showed me this behavior 2 minutes ago.
Say the same thing you said to her, but say it to me.
You were probably
More
thinking
sincere
of
a
me.
compliment.
Secular's advice
Now,
is...
hold on a minute. So the chat said people will ask if it's your natural color if they're really curious. Otherwise, just say thanks. So the question for the guys in the room is that a question you're ever going to ask anybody?
No,
I feel like
never.
that is the most dangerous thing to say ever.
So-
things like, are those real? Is that your natural color? Things that
So,
you need to stay away
the
from.
only situation in which I would ever ask or comment or anything like that about the reality of someone's hair color is if I know that person and just recently saw them go from a redhead to a blonde.
Yeah.
Then I'd be like, wait a minute, which is your natural hair color?
Yeah, I
did
feel
you
like
just
your
take the red
eyebrows
out,
are
or
in
did you
revolt
add
from your head.
Did you take the red out, or did you add the blonde? What happened?
Yeah, I'm usually like, did you get new glasses? I don't know.
I go with if I notice something's different, I try and safeguard myself with something's different, and then they always tell
Is that
you.
a new shirt?
Do you put your hands on your hips?
I do indeed. I do indeed. I actually go sassy.
Superman pose.
I go sassy because if I put more feeling into it, people like really, really get to the compliment. So I stand up and I go, "Are those new?" And then people are like, I can tell by his body language with the head shake that he was really involved in that and really wanted to know about my hair color. And I'm like, guess what? How about the hands? Did you notice?
I could have sworn you were a henna redhead. I could have sworn it.
Julie, didn't you have red hair last week? And people are like, Troy really cares. He cares.
I could be wrong, but is that a prosthetic limb?
Are you shorter?
Because something's up. What is the secular advice?
Secular advice says, start spending more time with blondes and brunettes than with a redhead. Who doesn't know when to keep her mouth shut?
Dude, I agree. That's a cackling hen right there.
It really is.
Why would you take her out? Like I wouldn't take her with me anywhere.
Really?
I'm trying to think of a man example of when I would be walking next to some guy and like my buddy would call me out. I can't think of something he would call
Yeah,
me out.
what if you had it like a
He plucks his eyebrows.
you had a tattoo.
Okay,
like
okay.
a wet rub-on tattoo.
I got it. So like you're walking around and like I don't know, somebody comments is like, "Hey man, those are big muscles. He's on roids." Like that's the only thing I can think of is like someone outed me as a steroid user.
Me as a third party, I'm going to cheapen your compliment so that I feel better about myself. Yeah, it's all fake.
He gets testosterone in a bottle. He orders it through the
No,
mail.
these suckers, these are real, though. You want to compliment them?
I built this city on rock and roll.
There's a term for that. I don't.
That's exactly what it's called. You got time for one more, man?
Yep.
Okay. Dear Live from the Path, my daughter, who's graduating from college, received a gift card from her aunt. The gift card is for the shop that the aunt owns. I think this is tacky. Am I wrong?
No.
It's a gift.
Yeah.
That's a gift.
Give what you want.
Steve Menard sent me a gift card the other day, and I was like, heck yeah.
That's like you complain to a business and they give you a gift card from their business.
Is it a second-hand shop? That's a little
Now,
awkward.
okay, let me ask you this. I'll give you a similar situation, okay? You open up a gift from your grandpa, and it's basically a card that says, to Mike, 1 free item from Grandpa's house. Like, is that cool?
If
really
there's no restrictions on it, yeah.
I was going to say, I really hope Grandpa's got some sweet stuff.
Yeah, definitely.
Unless all he has is old duck calls.
Here's
sweet.
Some people are like, yes.
Nathan's like, you don't appreciate your grandpa.
I've had my eye on that duck call for years.
My great grandpa gave Ben and I some stuff once, and they were harmonicas. They were good harmonicas, right? And I was way pumped about this. I'm like, sweet harmonicas. Except for he used to chew chewing tobacco. And so every time you had a honk on his harmonica, you also tasted some of his 30 years ago chewing tobacco.
That's absolutely disgusting.
There's bits of the grizz coming out into your mouth.
And here's the deal.
Oh my gosh.
The Skull Wintergreen did not have to pass FDA compliance 30 years ago. And it was some strong stuff for a 10-year-old. You know what I'm saying? It was crazy town.
Did they not have Listerine back then, guys? I feel like I would have like soaked it for days in Listerine or something.
I was just excited to have something from my grandpa. Troy.
Fair enough. All right.
Yeah, I'm like, sweet harmonica. Ooh.
You know what's... I do say... Oh, I only say the duck calls thing because I got duck calls for my grandpa. I
Yeah,
actually
that's
thought they
cool.
were pretty cool.
Your grandpa loves you. Definitely.
Thank you.
That's no problem.
Fair enough.
Anybody else want to weigh in on a secondhand? What? Let's call it. Let's say it is a secondhand store. It's not like Aunt runs Walmart. You know what I'm saying?
She's the Walton.
She could be a jewelry operator.
I don't have any problem with this at all.
No, I don't have a problem.
No.
Is
Yeah,
it, is it
no.
value that you didn't have before? And is it this person going above and beyond, obviously? Did they have to send you a card? Did they have to send you anything? No. Take it as a gift.
And if it bothers you, I think you got to reevaluate where you're at.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, you're one.
True.
I would try to buy a
Look at a gift
50
horse in
cent
the
item
mouth.
and then collect the change.
That's pretty shady.
Like
I'm
I
going to be
used to-
100% honest with
Like I
you.
used to do with food stamps, so I could buy baseball cards. They put the stop to that long ago. You can't do that anymore.
Yeah.
The secular says, if your daughter likes the merchandise her aunt carries, I see nothing tacky about it. However, for you to criticize the gift is ungracious and tacky. Ooh,
Oh,
secular
wow.
double down.
Secular.
Slam.
What do you think, Ben? I can do one more.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yep.
Okay, hold on. I had one that I thought was solid. Okay, here we go. Dear Life from the Path, I've been with my boyfriend, Ned, that's in quotes, Ned's the offender, for almost 2 years. I'm 19, and we have lived together since we started dating. Dan Hudson is done.
Yep.
I love
Dan's
Ned,
out.
but I feel like we moved too fast.
I can advise
into
you
our
right now.
relationship, and now he's trying to keep it moving as quickly as possible. I'm afraid he's going to propose soon. You know,
Every woman's nightmare.
Please
Who
don't-
doesn't have this
please
problem?
don't try to marry me.
Getting proposed to by Ned.
Dang it. He brings up the subject a lot, and I never have to say much because I'm afraid of hurting his feelings. What should I say if he pops the question? I'm not ready for that kind of commitment, but I don't want him to be angry with me if I say no.
If you are in a relationship that has been over 2 years now, you've lived together since the beginning of your relationship, and you don't feel comfortable enough to tell the man that you've been in a relationship for 2 years with that you're not ready to marry him, get out of the relationship. You do not trust each other. You do not know each other. You do not belong together. Get out.
But Ned's such a nice man.
I don't care how nice Ned is.
I don't want him to be angry with me.
He's not. If he was a nice guy, he wouldn't have said moving with me at 17 years old.
Is that true?
No, he could be nice and just ignorant.
Yeah.
I mean, he doesn't know any better.
Doubtfully.
No.
There's a chance that
He
can
lives at the
happen,
Castle
but do
Grayskull.
I think that? Do I think that's happening? No, I do not.
He is certainly Skeletor. I can tell by the way it's been written.
He's Mr. Creep. He's got his name in quotations called Ned.
Yeah.
No, wait a minute. Now, she's the one using him.
Yes.
You guys are kind of mean on him.
No, Troy has. Me and Ben have not jumped on that wagon.
Yeah.
No, she should really check her motives on why she's there in the first place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Quit hanging on to him if you're not going to marry him.
She's
What
got
are
a
you
free
doing?
house. She obviously
enough.
has issues with her father, and she needed a dad, and he's her dad.
That's what I got from it.
That was one heck of a jump, Dan.
She was 17, moved in with some dude, and doesn't want to get married.
Maybe she's rebelling against a disciplinary father who tried to lead her in the right direction. Boy, don't you look foolish?
It's a substitute dad.
Flipped.
It's the dad she always wanted.
Maybe her dad really is Skeletor. I'd leave.
Well, actually, that's true.
He's dead. You know.
That's true. I may have I misrepresented that. The dad could have done the right thing, and she still pursued a different dad, one that wasn't doing the right thing, that would otherwise treat her differently. Fair enough, Dan.
That's what I'm here for.
Yeah. The long story short is, neither one of them, have a basis for what a good relationship is supposed to look like.
Yeah, it's too bad he's not smart enough to get out. She's using him for free house.
What is this, Ben?
What do you mean?
Smooth jazz.
This indicates that the show is coming.
This is when we talk about relationships. Let's talk.
Yeah. Welcome to Live from the Path.
Kind of setting the mood, ain't you?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
It's moving out.
So I moved in with my father.
Here we go. Secular says, let's see. Honesty is the best policy. Not wanting to get to upset someone would be a very poor reason to get married. If Ned pops the question, it is perfectly all right to tell him exactly what you have shared with me, that you are not ready for that kind of commitment because you are only 19. It's the truth. That's a bummer, man. That's a bummer. People putting off growing up way too long. If Ned becomes angry, don't allow him to stampede you into saying yes. That kind of reaction.
Oh yeah, he seems like a real bully. This guy.
That kind of reaction could be a warning sign of someone who is a potential abuser. Wow, that took a turn. How did Ned turn out to be such a jerk? Wow, the woman pretty much admits to using Ned the last 2 years, doesn't want to marry him, and all of a sudden Ned's a spousal abuse man. I feel like that was one-sided, that advice.
All right, you're listening to Live from the Path. Hey, big thanks to Mr. Grooms and Monica. Thanks for coming in to Live from the Path.
Thanks for having us.
We appreciate you. Hey, you guys, check out the PromiseLand Music Fest. There's time to set block off your calendar, July 12th and 13th. You know you're not doing anything.
No, you're not.
Take your wife out. Give her a night on the town at the PromiseLand Music Festival. 26 bands, including 1,000 Foot Crutch. Like I said, folks from the show, Double J is going to be there. Sean Covington's going to be there. Chris Day is going to be there.
True Serve is going to be there.
True Serve is going to be there. Make sure to check that out. Go to the website, PromiseLandFest.com. You can find out more information and sign up for the camping. That sounds fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can check us out on Facebook. There's all sorts of kids entertainment. They've got all sorts of wonderful things going on here. So it's going to be a blast, and a lot of different organizations coming together for this, community getting together. It's really awesome. We got around 15 different pastors that are going to be there and speaking short, brief messages, testimonial-based messages, which is really neat, I think, having that many different pastors giving their story in an area. So it's really going to be interesting.
It's going to be awesome. So go check it out on the Facebook. Don't linger. Talk to your spouse or look at it together and hold hands or something. Make sure you spend equal time Facebook and equal time partner. But definitely go check it out. I'm excited to see how it comes out, some of the stories that come out of it, and hopefully we'll be able to try to talk to a couple of the bands coming through. So.
Yep, we'll see you during this week. You can go to livefrompath.org, catch past shows, past interviews, past performances, and we will see you next Monday. Thanks for listening to Live from the Path.